When a mysterious package arrived at 11:47 p.m., she thought it was just an early Amazon delivery, until the mirror inside started watching her back. It started on a quiet Thursday evening. Nina had just moved into her new cottage, nestled at the edge of a misty countryside town. Far from city noise, far from people. She liked the silence. Until it turned oppressive. Her last Amazon order, a toolkit, blackout curtains, and a hallway mirror, was expected Friday. But as the clock struck 11:47 p.m., her doorbell rang. Confused, Nina approached the door slowly. She peeked through the frosted glass but saw no delivery van, no footsteps in the dirt. Just a single box, sitting perfectly centered on her doormat. No label, no logo, just cardboard. A chill settled in her spine as she opened the door. The air outside was unnaturally still. No wind, no insects, not even the whisper of trees. She brought the box inside. It was heavier than it looked. Something shifted inside when she moved it, like wood scraping against metal. She set it on the kitchen table, debating whether to open it now or wait till morning. Curiosity won. Nina sliced through the tape with a butter knife. Inside, wrapped in old newspaper and linen cloth, was a mirror, but not the one she ordered. This one was ornate, antique, and far too large to have come from Amazon. Its wooden frame was blackened, etched with symbols she couldn't recognize. Her heart pounded faster. There was no receipt, no return label, just one small note, placed behind the glass. Do not face it after midnight. The note felt like a prank. Nina scoffed, but unease crawled under her skin like ants. She placed the mirror against the wall in the hallway and turned it to face inward. The rest of the night was restless. A scratching noise echoed faintly from the hall, but every time she checked, nothing was there. At exactly 12:01 a.m., her motion sensor lights flickered, just outside the hallway mirror. Thinking it was a glitch, she went back to bed. The next morning, Nina called Amazon customer service. The representative, puzzled, confirmed that no package had been delivered yet. Tracking showed her order still in transit. That meant someone else had been at her door. As the day dragged on, things felt off. The air in the hallway where the mirror stood seemed colder. Her cat, Otto, refused to go near it. He hissed and bolted any time he passed the frame. She examined the mirror again, cautiously. The glass had smudges, fingerprints, but in reverse, as if someone had pressed from the inside. Nina wiped it clean. Then it happened. For just a moment, as she turned away, she caught it in her peripheral vision. Her reflection didn't move. It stayed perfectly still as Nina walked past. And when she turned to face it directly, her own face looked wrong. Too pale. Lips curled in a slight smile she wasn't making. Heart racing, she covered the mirror with a bedsheet. The unease didn't fade. The note's warning echoed in her head. Do not face it after midnight. The next night came faster than expected. Nina kept every light on. Curtains closed. Her phone charged. She even called a friend, Jess, and stayed on video chat as a distraction. Maybe someone just dropped off the wrong package, Jess said, sipping tea through the screen. Then why would they leave a handwritten warning? Nina whispered. And why does it feel like someone's watching me? 11:46 p.m. The doorbell rang. Nina froze. 11:47 p.m. Jess's face blurred slightly on the screen. Glitched. Froze again. Nina! There's something behind you, Jess murmured, her tone suddenly hollow. Nina turned. The sheet was gone. The mirror stood uncovered, facing her. In the reflection, her living room was darker, deeper, like a shadow world beneath the surface. Something stood in the far end of the mirrored room. A tall, thin silhouette. Watching. Her phone died. The house fell silent. Slowly, Nina backed away. The figure in the mirror moved closer, not walking, gliding. She grabbed the mirror, yanked it from the wall, and stuffed it back in the box. But before she could seal it, a whisper crawled through the air. Face me. The voice wasn't hers. It wasn't human. Outside, the porch light exploded. Darkness devoured the windows. Nina sat there, clutching the box, her mind unraveling. Somewhere in that reflection, something had noticed her. And now it was awake. Nina didn't sleep. By morning, her reflection appeared normal again, but the fear remained. She made calls. No one could trace the package. Amazon had no record. Local delivery services hadn't been in her area that night. Determined to end it, Nina drove out to the dump with the mirror in her trunk. But as she walked away from the disposal pit, she caught her reflection again, in a nearby broken window. Her reflection didn't blink, didn't look away, didn't leave. Back home things worsened. Joe vanished. The house began to rot at the edges, dark mold blooming near the hallway. Her walls dripped with condensation though it hadn't rained in days. The mirror was back in her living room, pristine and upright. Nina screamed, smashed it with a hammer. Glass cracked. The mirror didn't shatter. Instead, a thin hairline opened in the middle, like a mouth splitting open. From it came a sound, wet breathing. Desperate, she boarded up the frame, hammered nails into the wall, painted over it. But the whispers came anyway. Face me before I come through. She found the original note again. Flipping it over revealed another line she hadn't noticed. If you see yourself blink twice, run. The final night. Nina sat in front of the mirror, now sealed in her bathroom behind a locked door. Her hallway had grown too dangerous. Shadows moved independently. Her own voice echoed from places she hadn't spoken. She stared into the bathroom mirror, hoping to catch a glimpse of something human, herself. 11:46 p.m. She counted the seconds. Her reflection stared back. 11:47 p.m. Her reflection blinked. But she hadn't blinked. From the hallway, the board she'd nailed in place began to creak. Full. The mirror was opening again. Nina ran, fled outside into the mist, barefoot, screaming for help. But the world was wrong. The trees looked distant, tilted, like they belonged somewhere else. When she looked back at her house, it wasn't her home anymore. It was the version from the mirror. The windows were black voids. The porch, shattered. The front door wide open. And in the doorway stood her reflection, smiling. Weeks later, police found the cottage abandoned. No signs of struggle. Just one item left behind in the center of the living room floor. Cardboard box. Inside, a mirror. No label. Just a note that read, "Delivered. 11:47 p.m.